The most important thing about documentaries is that they should be absolutely factually correct. And I can't be absolutely sure that there's any other country in the history of the Queen Elizabeth II Cup that has got a better record than South Africa in this particular race. When you think of horses like London News, Alexander Garrett Laird and Douglas White, Laurie and Jean Jaffe, the next horse to record victory was a horse called Silvana, who had absolutely no South African connections, but ended up standing as a stallion in this country, and he has subsequently become champion sire and has produced a very, very serious racehorse in Bold Silvana, to mention but one, and there are many of them. Then there was Iridescence, Mike de Kock, WEIGHONG, MARWING and Barry Irwin. There was Archie Penko, Sheikh Mohammed bin Khalifa Al Maktoum, Kevin Shea and Mike de Kock. There was Ambitious Dragon, Tony Millard and Douglas White teamed up. And then, quite possibly the best of the whole lot, was a horse called Vengeance of Rain, himself a son of Zabeel, bred by Cambridge stud, and of course he was ridden by Anthony Delpech. Then it was the turn in 2010 of WEIGHONG MARWING, who rode a horse called Viva Pataka. And Viva Pataka is recognized as the most leading stakes winner of all horses ever to have run in Hong Kong. He amassed a total stake earnings of way over $80 million.
What a great finish, and Viva Pataka hits the lead. Super Saturn in pursuit. Viva Pataka, Super Saturn. It's the old 8-year-old Viva Pataka. What a grand moment in racing. Viva Pataka staved off the Derby winner Super Saturn and Lizard's Desire. It's very close for second and third.
The first person we're going to chat to is WEIGHONG MARWING about his ride on Viva Pataka back in 2010.
He won the race as an 8-year-old. He retired with, I think, the stake earnings of excess of probably 80 or 90 million Hong Kong dollars. He was a real tough horse, multiple Group 1 winner, hard-knocking horse, enjoyed his racing. Unfortunately, as everything goes, time came on and he had to retire, and that the race holds a lot of fond memories for me as well.
Yeah, I think he's a horse that's actually made me as a jockey, not just as a jockey, but financially also. You know, I came from here and it's very hard, and got to Hong Kong, and lucky enough I end up parting with Vengeance of Rain, and a horse like that can change your whole life.
Vengeance of Rain, kick to the front, Grayson comes at him, trying hard, Russian Pearl, Super Kid, Vengeance of Rain, and Grayson cutting him back, Vengeance of Rain, the Derby winner, wins the QE2.
I just think he was a fantastic horse. Wherever he would have travelled on his day when he was well, he would have beaten anything.
It's Privilege in front. London News and Ennis Mirabilis go up to him. The South African in the middle draws to the lead now. London News goes to Privilege. Ennis Mirabilis 3 deep at them. Privilege won't give in. London News, the pride of South Africa, goes up and goes to the lead. Privilege on the inside is coming again. London News in front. Privilege won't give in. London News doing the better. And London News, he's everything they said, and he wins. London News by a half.
It's a lovely track, short, and it's fast, it's flat. I mean, it's the type of track that our horses like, you know. It's not a heavy track. And I think that day, London News won. He put up a good time. It was better soon after, but I think he set up a new course or track record. It was the first time a horse has been taken over to race there. But to have a jockey who had such good knowledge of the track at the same time, knew my horse. You know, like, you get a jockey who goes there, he knows the track, but he didn't get a chance to ride the horse. So I was in that wonderful position of having a jock that he could work a race out for himself. He knew the horse, knew the track, and he knew a lot of those horses in the race. I mean, that's Dougie. He's a consummate professional. He'd worked out where all the horses were going to be and where he wanted to be. Brings back good memories. 20 years ago, it's strange to think it was so long ago.
Just a huge debt of gratitude to World Sports Betting for having afforded us this opportunity of coming to Hong Kong for the Queen Elizabeth II Cup. Of course, Mubtahij was due to take his place in the lineup, but sadly, due to an injury incurred in work, he's unfortunately not going to take his place in the lineup. So let's find out from Mike de Kock exactly what that particular race means to him, having won it with Iridescence, having won it with Archie Penko, having run second with Grayson, and of course third with Lizard's Desire. The man has got an unbelievable record in that particular race. Let's go and join Mike de Kock. You're sad not to be there this year with Mubtahij.
Oh, absolutely, Andrew. And you know, his prep was going so well, and you know, just a small hiccup on the way, but you know the timing was just bad because the horse would have had to have been medicated. Carpal canal choke is something that they come right within 24 hours, but you know he had to travel the next day and be medicated. So, and he was going along very, very well. I mean, I was pretty confident about him running well on turf too, because he did a lot of his prep work for the dirt on turf. I mean, I know it sounds Japanese, but it's just that, you know, the nature of the track in Dubai, I felt the safest surface was turf. So he used to do, you know, most of his sort of tough work on there.
Yeah, and of course he's a Dubai horse, so, you know, it was quite a turn-up for the books that he acted so well on the dirt.
Yes, I mean, but I think, you know, Dubai is that sort of size, he's very versatile. They go on each surface. Yeah. Plus, the older they get, the better they are.
It's an interesting race, only 8 runners. There's no real kind of field fillers in here. Everyone's in with a very legitimate shout. For me, it looks like the weather's going to be fine. And in that condition, I think it could make Neo-Realism for Japan, who will probably be the second favorite. Joe Moreira, Noriyuki Hori, who's won 4 Hong Kong Group 1 races over the last 15 months or so, which is... Yeah, it really is. He's come here with a horse who was 2 lengths better than Vivlos in the Nakayama Kennen. We saw what Vivlos did when we were in Dubai. With Joao Moreira on board, I think Neo-Realism goes to the front and will just run away. Werther and Pakistan Star for me to run in the placings. I really like what I've seen from Pakistan Star's track work, but to be fair, Werther, the defending champion of this race, done nothing wrong. So obviously is in with every chance, but Neo-Realism I think could have the tactical advantage, will go forward, and is going to be the one to catch turning for home.
It's quite interesting that the international markets have got the Japanese horse at the top of the bookmakers' boards, and on ratings he shouldn't be that way, but clearly his trainer's got a great reputation and there might be something in the tank.
Absolutely, you know, he's does very well, Hori, with, you know, identifying the right sort of horses to travel. He's been here once before. I don't know how much of a concern that is, that he not so much failed in the mile, but, you know, he was out of the placings and down the field, but maybe the race went against him in terms of pattern. He should get his own way in front here, Neo-Realism, if they want to do that. I imagine they probably will. And with his win in the Group 2 last time out, beating a horse like Vivlos, who went on to win in Dubai, and a win over Morris last year, I mean, that form looks outstanding in its own right. But again, to travel and to take on, you know, the local champ, he will have to. I think if they've got him as favourite, the market's wrong. Werther should be favourite. He will be favourite, I'm sure, here on race day, and you know he's still the one to beat for me.
Douglas White's name carries a lot of weight. I mean, anybody who's won 13 titles over here has got to know his way around, and he says that this horse's preparation, Werther, has been outstanding.
Yeah, and he's got, I think he's the 3-time winner of the race. So he holds the record as the, you know, most wins. It's been near perfect. He had a little setback at the start of the year, which kept him off the track, but it might have worked to his favour in actual fact, because he comes here fresh. Stepping up from the mile last time out, there's very few negatives with him. Yes, he won on a wet track last year. Hopefully the rain will stay away, but he's equally as competitive and as good on a firm track as well. So it's a case of, if you start with him, where are the negatives? There really aren't any. So, you know, someone's going to have a PB, and by some way, if they're going to beat him.
I do a lot of work for John Moore. He's been a big supporter of mine, and I love working for him. He's a great horseman and very knowledgeable, and to see this horse blossom and come through his preparation to get to this particular stage just for this race, it's phenomenal. You know, for him to have handpicked those races that he's running and to see the work he's done leading into this and the trial, I think he's going to be cherry ripe on the day, and whatever beats him is going to win.